All right, so here we are for the second half of the lecture. We're going to be going until 4 or 5. What time do you guys get out of class? I think Todd said 6:30. So the class is from 2 to 6:30? 6. Okay, 6 or 6:30. All right, well, we'll go, whatever I want. We'll go until like 6 and see where we are on stuff and then figure it out from there because, yeah, if I stop this, I mean, I can tighten up some things and cool. All right. All right. So we'll figure this out. But, yeah, that's what's up. But everybody's saying 6, but do y'all take a break? I signed you in. Kilo, I got you, dude. Here, you can see my screen. Everybody take a look at my screen down here in the corner, and you can see the attendance. Whoops, wait, not that. Oh, wrong window. Sorry, buddies. Sorry. I meant to move that over here. Yeah, there you go. There's that. You can see that window there. Make sure your name is on there. Cool. So 6. All right, I gotta. Okay. All right. So, well, Todd says 6:30. I'm trusting Todd on this one, but we'll probably stop around 6:15 or so, and then I'll take some time to work on some stuff and make sure. I have you in Todd's class. Wait, who do I have in Todd's class? Who do I have in the wrong class? We don't know Todd. He has you in Todd's class. I have Kilo in Todd's class. Kilo. Do I? Oh, there I do have you in Todd's class. Sorry, buddy. Here. Let's put you over here. Boom. And then David, Henry, you're in Sicket's class. Cassine. Did I have you in the wrong class too, Cassine? I'm sorry. Do I not have you in any class? Thought I typed your name in. Oh, no, I got you right here. Oh, wait, you're not John Cassine, you're Cassine. Cool. You might have a new teacher. There you go, Cassine. There you go, cool. All right. You're locked in. There you are right there. Booyah! Booyah! All right, let's do this. Let's continue on our journey. So where'd we get to in this notes? Where'd we get to? We got to this page here. Oh, all right, so number 9. Okay, so we got into number 9. You're welcome. And again, hold off on all the questions and things until a little bit later. We'll go over the questions in a couple hours at 6. So we're gonna make some beats and do this. So, all right. And up here, we talked about the sounds. Here's the sounds. The next one here is drums. Drums are just drum kits and drum sounds. So for example, I've got this drum kit here. Let me just make another drum kit here. Boom. And in here, you got a lot of different drum kits. Yeah. What? Right? And I've got a ton of stuff in here just because I'm working off my computer. So I actually don't even have all of them. Okay, so I can take any one of these and I can drop it onto a track. So now I've dropped it onto the track. And let's see, where is it? Right? So I can play it like that. I can, whatever, I can hit go. Let's speed this up a little bit. Here, I'm gonna delete all this stuff. We're gonna make another track here. Boom. Hey Penny, what's up? How you doing? So we're gonna go. Cool. So I got this. All right. So I can have that beat there. And let's say I want to make another beat, different beat. Right? I can take this drum kit and I can change it if I want. And you can change it by clicking on the little thing here, this little hot swap button. Change it here and go through, and let's see what this one. Yeah, so I can click on that, and now it changes things up. We'll get to some techno here in a bit. We're not in techno time yet. We're still learning Ableton Live so far. So we got this this drum kit here. I'm gonna put it back to the drum kit that it was. All right, here, let's put this up to 120. Let's get another drum kit. I'm gonna get a 909 drum kit here. I can do a search up top if I want to. See where this little line is up here? I can do a search. If you hit Command F, it'll do the search, and I'll just type in 909. And it'll search whatever thing, whatever category you're in over here on the left. I'll put this in here, and let's get this sound going on. I'm just gonna get a kick drum in here. Boom. And set this up over here, like that. Awesome. We got that there. All right, let's take this. And I'm just dragging drum kits in on, and you can drag them in to the, in here like this. And let's go in here and let's put in some sounds. Let's see, what do our sounds sound like? If I want to hear the sounds that I'm going to play, right in here, this little headphone thing. Wow, that's crazy. It's kind of a cool sound. Okay, we got these sounds. I kind of like that one there. Let's put that in like that. Nice. I'm just going to loop that first part there. Yeah, why does it have so much reverb? I don't know. I didn't make the sound. Cool. And I got my delay over here. We're just going to set up a little delay thing going on. Okay, now, what I'm going to show you here next is something to do with some samples. And this kind of is going to explain a little bit how these tracks, how these work on each track. So right now, what I've been just kind of doing is kind of making some beats and using MIDI to make beats and stuff. But I'm going to show you how audio works in here. I'm going to make a new audio track here. And here's my audio track. And this is how explaining just how clips work in general, all right? So let's go over here and find some sample packs. These sample packs do not come with Ableton Live. These are all sample packs that I have. We're going to go in here to Organic Rhythms. Let's go into Organic Rhythms and find the loops. Let's get some processed. You know what? These are going to be weird. Hold on. Let's get the tops of grooves. Cool. Go down to the hundreds in here. All right. Just some like little things in here. We're going to use these here. And I'm going to grab a couple. I'm going to throw them onto the same track. All right, same track, same track, same track. All right, so now if we hit play, here's my hi-hat line. Now, what do you think is going to happen when I hit play on one of these other ones here? Do you think it's going to play at the same time, or do you think it's going to take over it and stop the first one from playing? What do you think? Let's get some chats going on here. The question is if this one's playing and I hit play on this one, it's going to stop the first one from playing. Yep. David Henry, you're right. It's going to stop the first one from playing. So watch this. I hit play, and now it stopped the first one from playing. If I play this one, it's going to go back and stop that other one from playing again. Right? And if I play any one of these, it's going to stop them from playing. Now, what this shows us is that with Ableton Live, just like with Pro Tools, just like with Logic, with any of these DAWs, you can only play one audio file at a time. You cannot play two audio files at the same time on the same track. So if I have a track that's playing one audio file and I start playing another audio file, it's gonna play, and it's gonna stop playing this one and start playing the new one that I put in here. Play, stop, play, like that. So that's what's happening here. If I want to play two different audio files at the same time, I can, but I just have to put them on two different tracks. So now I can play this hi-hat line, and I can play this one here. Why would you want multiple on one track? You wouldn't. I mean, well, the only time, I put multiple on one track when I'm just testing out different loops and different samples and stuff like that. I'll have multiple on one track. And once I figure out, I like that one, I like that one, I like that one, then I'll put them on different tracks. But a lot of people, you got to keep in mind, this is like I'm talking to people who have never touched Ableton Live before at all, ever, or people who don't really make beats all the time. So that's what's up. Can you make the scene automate from 1 to 2 to 3? You are way ahead of us right now. Stop talking about scenes. We're not talking about scenes yet. Linking Hearts 625. Okay, we'll get back. We'll talk about scenes in just a second. So, no, you're fine, but just calm down. So I got these here. Now if I pull this stuff in. Cool, so we got this. Let me try these. Kind of like that one a little bit better. That one's also pretty cool. Turn the volume down on this one here. Yeah. Cool. So I like the sounds that I'm getting here like this. Now let's talk about some scenes action. Okay, so I got these different ones on here. I'm going to rename these tracks real quick. This one's going to be called hi-hat loop, and this is going to be called perk loop number 1, and this is going to be called perk loop number 2. Boom. Okay, this one here is our bass drum loop. Wait, no, that's not. Wait, what was this one? That's like our weird beat loop. This is our kick drum. What was this one? Oh, that's our perky loop. Perky for percussion, okay? So we have this stuff here. I'm gonna put this over here. And let's listen to this kick drum real quick. Kick drum is all right, but I kind of want... Not my favorite kick drum sound. Let's switch that kick drum out for a different kick drum. Here, I'm just gonna scroll through. Let's try this one. How about this one? Yeah, that one's better. But I want to get rid of this pop on the end. I'm not a huge fan of the pop that's on the end here. So I'm actually going to go in here and move this forward and do a little fade. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. Cool. We'll talk about how I did that fade. Awesome. Cool. All right. So I got all these little things going. I like both of these. Here, we're going to call this one Perk Loop A1, I think. Here, let's listen to these. This one here. They're different. Here, let's put these on its own track. Okay. Perk Loop 3. Boop. Okay, cool. So, the fade. I'll explain the fade. Don't you worry. We'll get to the fade. But maybe not today. All right. So we got this here. We got our bass drum loop. We got our weird beat loop. We got our perky loop, our hi-hat loop, perk loop 1, perk loop 2, perk loop 3. Now, what happens when I want to play all these at the same time, or if I want to play certain ones? So what I've got, I'm going to hold down Option. I'm going to drag my kick loop down like this. When I hold down Option, I drag my kick loop down. What it does is it makes a copy of it. So you can see here, now I've got it there and I've got it there. So if I hit play, oops, there's my kick drum. And let's, okay, so I want these two to play at the same time. Now you can see when I click on each one of these here, see how it makes a line that goes across like this? Well, this is what we call a scene. So the scene, it lets me play multiple tracks at the same time. And over here on the right-hand side, where it says master, right? This is my master output track, my master fader. This one here has these numbers on it, and each one of these numbers has a little play button. And the play button allows me to play different scenes. So for example, if I pull this down like this, oops, like this. If I play scene number 3, it's just my kick drum. And if I play scene number 4, it's going to be my kick drum with that perky loop. Ready? Listen. Pretty dope, right? Let me just get here. I'm going to rename these so my names are correct, so it's easier to see what's going on. Okay. Oh, no. I need to do this one too. Boom. Okay. So I have these. I have the perky loop here. Now, I've got these two going. We do need some synths. Okay. But we're going to get there in a second. So now we got that. Now let's get the hi-hats going on. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just drag this down so they're on a new scene. So now I can go back. I can play scene number 3. I can play scene number 4, and I can play scene number 5, and I can go back to scene number 3, like that, okay? And I can have any of these going on that I want. Right, so I got that going on. It's pretty cool sounding. Now, what's really cool about Ableton Live, one of the things that's really neat, if we're making our beats like this, would you have to record that in real time? No, we're gonna get there. If I'm making my beats like this and I'm just getting different loops from different places and I'm trying things out, I'm just like, oh, I just wanna use that loop and I wanna use that loop and I wanna use that loop. If I have to keep dragging things down and highlighting and shift clicking and moving things around, like I can do it, but it's time consuming. I don't want to use that much time when I'm doing this stuff. So what I'm going to do, you can see I've got 2 playing from over here. I've got 1 playing from over here. I want to have all those come from different places and go boop into one location, onto one scene. So what I'm going to do is I select which scene I want to put it after and I hit Command-Shift-I. And now they come onto their own scene. And I can hit play on here, and I can hit Command-Shift-I again. Now I can go back up here, and I can play different ones. And I could say, that's pretty cool, Command-Shift-I. So now I've got these different ones, get my weird beat loop in here. Cool. Now, got this here. Oh yeah. Nice, right? Oh yeah. I've actually sat in on some of Todd's classes before just to watch him, to critique and make sure he was like doing everything right, and he's great. I love Todd's classes. He's awesome. So that's what's up with this. So you can get here. Now let's, shall we add in some synthesizers like Kilo said? I think Kilo's right. We should add in some synths. And since we're doing some techno here, I'm just gonna use an arpeggiator and just make a real quick synth line here. I can use analog, let's use analog bass. There we go. Little, what's going on? Cool. Okay, so this, yeah, nice. Awesome. Okay, hello again. So let's see. Thanks, Kilo, for make the last note last shorter. Okay, why not? Let's do that. But whoops, not all of them. There you go. Hold on, just real quick. What is John Sickett saying? It's not a lot of material, but I want you to be at least a little familiar with the console. Then tomorrow we will have a proper online class. We'll go to the O2R. I'll be here at 1:30 tomorrow, Tuesday, getting set up ahead of time. I'm not using Twitch. This will all be done in Canvas. Okay, so John Sickett is going to be doing class tomorrow. Thank you, by the way, Kilo, for announcing this. This is great. So John Sickett's going to be using Canvas. I guess so. Can you stream in Canvas? I don't know. I didn't even try. I think you can. I think people were streaming in Canvas, but it's not something that I was trying to do, so I'm not concerned about it. All right. Anyway, so tomorrow, John Sickett will have class, and you'll be there. And this class will be so lonely. I guess if you have a computer, you could run both at the same time. Up to you. Anyway, so we got this. Cool. Yeah, if you're in Todd's class, you stay here. Yeah, just stay here. Okay, cool. So we got this here. We got this little bass, this little synth line going on here. So that's that part there. Let's just see where we are in the notes. Let's load up the notes again. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's talk about the I/O section. All right, so the I/O section is here. The I/O section is right up here. Now, if I want to get audio from somewhere, if I want to get audio sending to something, I would do it right here. So let's say, for example, that I want to record that synth line as audio, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and Command T, and I'm going to give this new track, I just made an audio track, and I'm going to give it a name. Synth, bass, bounce, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to record audio from one track to another. And the routing in Ableton Live is the routing from, sorry. Okay, cool. Keela, stop posting that stuff. Other people can read it somewhere else. It's distracting me. But thank you. All right, so the audio routing in Ableton Live is a bit different from the audio routing in something like Pro Tools. In Pro Tools, what do you use to route the audio from one place to another? Somebody type it for me, please. You use to go from one place to another. I'm just gonna. What do we use? There's a little bit of lag. A bus. We do use a bus. Yeah, aux is a bus. Yep, exactly. You're all correct. We use buses and auxes. Yep. Okay. So that's how you do it in Pro Tools. That's great. I'm so happy that you guys are saying that stuff. So that's how you do it in Pro Tools. It's also how you do it in Logic for those of you who have used Logic. But in Ableton Live, it's a little bit different, and I'm going to show you right here. So this is what we do. Boom. Over here, in Ableton Live, it says audio from and audio to. Now, it basically ends up being the same as a bus. It's not different, but just the terminology that they use is a little bit different. So what I'm going to do, I have two choices here. I can take my synth bass. Hey, not you. This one. I can take my synth bass and I can route the audio to this track over here, synth bass bounce. You notice it doesn't have a bus. It doesn't say like bus 1 input and bus 1 output. It doesn't say anything like that. It just says take it and send it to this track over here, right? From this track to this track. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to take it. I'm going to say audio to my synth bass bounce. And now when I hit play, watch what happens. What are we not hearing? We're not hearing our bass anymore. The reason why we're not hearing our bass is because it's not monitoring over here on this input channel. We've sent the audio into this channel here, but now we're not monitoring that channel. So what we have to do is we have to turn on the monitor for that channel right here. Turn it on to in or auto. If you're gonna have it set to auto, you need to have the record arm button. If you don't wanna have the record arm button, you just set it to in. You know what I'm going to do with this actually? I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to have this go like this once, and then the second time I'm going to have it cut out. That'll be a little bit cool. It'll do once and then it'll stop. So now that's one way to do it. I can have it, and that's over, I think that's actually in a different, where is that? It's in like the other lesson here. I'm kind of going a little bit ahead, but it's all in one day anyway. So because we're not doing a lab part of class, it's all just me talking for the whole time today. So here's oops. Okay. So that's one way to do it, and I'll find the PDF that shows this here in just a second. That's one way to do it. But what I actually prefer to do is just keep this going to the master. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the audio from. Now the audio from, which is another way to do this, I say audio from is coming from the synth bass here, boom, and I'm going to go to post effects. I'm going to show you why in just a second. So now, and I can record this. Was the bounce input channel an audio or MIDI channel? The bounce input, the channel I'm bouncing to is an audio channel because I want to record it, so it's got to be an audio channel. If it's a MIDI channel, it'll be harder to record onto. You can only record MIDI onto MIDI channels. So, Bearded Mixer, to answer your question, that is a audio channel. I set up an audio channel here. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and hit record. And I'm going to let it play through. And now I'm going to play it from this other one. And all I did to get it playing here, if you were watching my screen, is I literally just hit the play button when I wanted to start playing it. So Ableton Live, what's really cool about it is it lets me record stuff, and then if I hit the play button, it'll start playing it back immediately, which is pretty dope. I'm going to show you that one more time here. All right, so here, I'm going to delete this. So now I'm playing with my bass line, not recording anything yet. I'm going to just go up here. I'm going to hit the record button and watch what happens. It starts recording. You can see it's recording down here. If I double click on this one, I can see my MIDI part here. And if I hit the play button, it's going to start playing. And now it's playing. Okay. So it was recording it, and then when I hit the play button, it started playing it. Now, a couple things real quick. I'm going to backtrack. Just the I/O of the two channels don't necessarily need to correspond with one another. Agent Orange, you are absolutely correct. The I/O of the two channels do not need to correspond with one another in order to send and receive audio signal. Only the input of one channel or the output of another needs to be selected. That is absolutely right. So if I have my synth bass and I want to record it into my other track, I have my synth bass bounce track set up here. Or I could just call this like bass record, whatever I want to name it. And I can either go from down here on the bottom. Hold on, let me just get this. Okay. So from down here, audio from is my synth bass track. Or I can go audio to my bass record track, whatever it is. Just, you need to have one of them going to the correct name, one or the other. Okay. So that's how this works. Okay. So now, one thing I want to pull your attention to real quick is, let's go back here for a second. Let's back up and go back to this one that says the global quantize. Okay, the global quantize is my quantize for all of my clips in Ableton Live. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what does that mean? Well, fortunately for you, I'm about to answer that question. What that means is, these clips here start and stop with whatever the global quantize is set to. So if I'm playing something, if I'm just hitting, here, let's. And you can hear these are playing. If I start stopping them, you You hear how they're starting and stopping on the downbeat of each bar? Well, that's because it's set for global quantize. The global quantize is set for one bar. And so what it means is that every loop is going to start or stop on the downbeat of the bar. And we can see I have different options here. I have 2 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars, a half bar, a quarter note, quarter of a bar, an eighth note, 16th note, all these different things. My recommendation, what I've learned after many, many years of using Ableton Live, is that 1 bar is the best for like 95% of all clips. Only when you're starting to do other kind of like, if you want to trigger clips in different ways and do weird things with it, that's when you're going to use something less than 1 bar. But for the most part, it's going to be 1 bar. Now, right now I've just been triggering the clips, but you also notice when I was recording stuff, it also did the same thing with 1 bar. So let's go back over here to our bass record. If I hit play, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this loop to kind of roll through the whole time. So when it says 8 over here, I'm going to hit record on this one. It's going to start recording. When the downbeat, boom. And now it's recording. I'm going to answer your question in just a second. Now, if I wanted to loop that part, now it's playing from the thing I just recorded. The implications of this are so cool because it means that basically I can start and stop and record stuff and get like loops going and record those loops and hit play and record MIDI stuff and do all these things, just constantly firing off creative ideas without stopping the music, which is one of the most incredible parts of Ableton Live. And this is why so many people use Ableton Live all the time to produce music, is because you don't have to stop the creativity, which is awesome. Now, to answer your question, Neil, is if you turn this to none, things are just going to start and stop whenever. So if I hit play, now see, I'm just like hitting play on these. And here, I'm going to show you my mouse over here. I'm just playing this stuff. Right, that's what happens if you use none. If you use none, it just starts and stops. Run that back turbo. Okay, so I don't recommend using none. None is probably not the best option for stuff. All right, so I've got my bass recording here. I'm just going to drop this down into here and turn off my record here. Now, once I've got this recorded as audio, it doesn't continue. Well, I don't understand what you mean by that. It doesn't continue. What continue? What continues? It just starts and stops. Oh, so if you want to stop, everything continues. If I just let this play, because they're loops, it would keep playing. If we all took a break and came back tomorrow and I didn't stop this, it would still be playing this loop over and over and over and over again. So you can see it in the bottom of the screen. You can see it. Wait. There you go. See how, watch this loop. It's gonna loop, it's gonna loop, it's gonna loop, and loop. No, the quantize has nothing to do with when you click play, does it start and then stop. It's triggering the clips. And there's a place where you can change that, but I want to talk about that when we talk about sampling and stuff like that. There's a time and a place for that, and it's not yet. So we'll come back to that. It's great questions though. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about here is your send effects real quick. That is number 14 here. Oh no, what I was doing by clicking a bunch was just showing you that it's not quantizing it. It's just playing. That's what I was doing. Sorry, I wasn't very clear. Maybe. Yeah, probably. Okay, so this bass. What if I want to put some reverb on this bass? Right? So you got that there. That's the bass. I'm going to get rid of this bass line here. So these are my send amounts. Just like your aux send amounts in Pro Tools or Logic, they work exactly the same way. Over here on the right-hand side, I've got my return tracks set up, and the return tracks are basically like aux tracks that are specifically for send effects, like reverbs and delays and stuff like that. So that's this here. Agent Orange, what did you say that's so bad? I don't know why the bot is going after you. I don't know what you said. Could you have a channel with an external audio input like an analog synth set up to live record and loop? Don't say such bad things, Agent Orange. The synth bot's coming after you. Are those automatically linked to the first knob on your controller? Okay, so wait, hold on a second. Y'all are maybe talking about two different things. Analog. Oh man! Wow! Why doesn't it want you to say analog? Hey, guys. Can y'all just okay, we're using computers here, not analog hardware, all right? Just stop it, all right? Just stop it. Wow, the poor synthbot's going crazy. That is hilarious. All right, so back on track. That's hilarious. What are you talking about, perks? Oh, the perks? You want some of these perks in the beat? That one or this one? All right, put the perks in the beat. Okay, so anyway, where were we? Hold on, before the chat bot took over. Chat bot. What did you ask? Could you have a channel with external? And yes. So the answer is yes. Yeah. So the answer is yes. You can have a synth connected into it. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have a whole lesson on how to connect up stuff and record it into Ableton Live. That's not today. That's actually probably tomorrow, which means I need to plug in my audio interface, which is not plugged in right now. But yeah, you can have a synth connected up, and you can record it and you can loop it. Exactly what I just did, basically, but just with external gear and not internal. So absolutely, and you can record vocals in here. All my I record vocals in Ableton Live. All my friends record vocals in Ableton Live. It's no problem at all. Although I will say, if I'm doing anything that's like commercial, like pop music or house music, or hip hop, something that's like I need to do like a ton of vocal takes. It's got like a pretty complex vocal thing set up. I'll use Pro Tools for that because of how Pro Tools does the comping. But if I'm just doing like loops and samples and things like that, or more housey things, I'll use Ableton Live for that, just because I'm already in Ableton Live most of the time. So, all right. Okay, so we got this beat going on here. We got some sends happening. Sweet. So we got that happening there. We got our sends going on. And we're going to talk more about these return tracks later on. I just want to give you a basic overview of stuff. And let's see, down here in the bottom, is our levels. Turn that down and up. Okay. We can pan it left and right. If it's panned somewhere and you want to get it back into 0, you just click on it and hit delete. There you go. And if you want to mute it, you turn off the track. Cool. Now, one thing that you may or may not know about Ableton Live, especially if you've been using it, you can actually take these and make them larger and smaller. You click and you grab right here, you mouse over this part here, you drag up, you drag down, and there you go. You can move that around. I usually keep mine right about here. This bottom number is your level. It's your track level. The top number is your peak. So if I start off down here, you can see that peak is really soft. If I drag this up, this top number starts to go up. And if it's like peaking, yeah, you can record it muting it and unmuting it and stuff, yeah. If it's peaking, it'll turn red or yellow. If it peaks and clips way up high, it's going to turn red. So, okay, cool. All right, there we go. And to answer to your question, Zaint Darko, yes, you can record stuff. You can mute it. You can turn the mute on and off. You can record that as, like, it would record it. If you're recording onto another track, then you can record the audio, or you can actually record the automation data as well. But we're going to talk about automation on a different day. So, in here, the master track. The master track is right over here on the right. This is your main output. What can answer, should I ever touch this master fader here? Yes or no? Should you ever touch the master fader? That is the question on the floor right now. No, the answer is no. I absolutely 100% agree with you. Do not touch the master fader. Leave it at 0. If I'm clipping, if my track is clipping, how should I fix it? And I guess the options would be turn the master fader down or fix it in the mix. Should I fix it in the mix or should I turn the master fader down? Yes, absolutely. Fix it in the mix. Yep, fix the mix. Always fix the mix. And one of these classes that we're going to have on here soon, I'm going to show you how to fix a mix, how to get your mix correct, like how to start it. And it's going to change your life. I promise you. Like once I really, like my mixes became so much better once I actually figured out how to mix properly. And it's not hard. It's like just knowing what to do. So the good news is it's not hard. So that's what's up. All right. So we got this happening. What are we doing next? Okay, a couple things to keep in mind. These are like more like kind of like review of what we just talked about here. Okay, so thing number 1, you can only play one clip at a time on a track. That is really important. You can only play one clip at a time on a track. Any looped audio will automatically fit the current tempo. The master fader? What are you talking about? You're like late to that party. Don't touch the master fader. Always fix it in the mix. All right, so what does this mean? Any looped audio will automatically fit the current tempo. Okay, ha 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 ha. Nice joke. Okay, so what this means is I got this line going here. I'm gonna stop this one and this one here. Okay, so I got that. Actually, you know what? Let's play this one here. And I'm going to go down here to my Sample Magic libraries. Now the Sample Magic libraries, a lot of cool loops and stuff in Sample Magic. We're going to go ahead and let's deep and bass house here. So I got this. Now, deep and bass house here has my, let's get my top loops. Now you can see from this that my tempo of this one here is 124 BPMs. Now, if I go in here, my tempo is currently at 120. Let's slow this down. So now I slowed it down to 104. When I hit play, it's gonna automatically play at my current tempo. Cool. So if I take this and I drag it in, it'll automatically play it's playing at my current tempo. I didn't have to change anything. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to mess with it. I didn't have to do nothing. It's automatically playing at my current tempo. If I change my tempo and speed it up, using my arrow keys to speed it up, it automatically fits my tempo. Just pretty darn cool. This one won't look. Awesome. So basically what I'm saying is any tempo loop that I pull in is going to play at the right tempo. Any kind of loop that I pull in is going to be at the right tempo. If I go over here to my sample phonics and we go down here, let's go to a different one. Let's go to dirty percussion. Go in here. These are going to be one hits. Never mind. Sorry. Drums that go boom. Nope. Duality bass tapes. Okay, here we go. That's good. Let's get some faster ones here. I'm going to pull this in so we can hear it. That's kind of cool. They don't really go together, but so you can see that even though this bass loop here is supposedly at 112 BPMs, it still fits perfectly with everything. And this is because Ableton Live just pulls things in at the right tempo automatically, which is super dope. Now, the question from Agent Orange is, how do you use the Elastic Audio tool? And the answer is, it's actually really easy. I'm gonna explain it. I don't think it's on our list of things to talk about today, but maybe. But let me come back to it. But it's not that hard, and once I show it to you, you'll be like, oh, cool, awesome. I'll show it to you maybe if we have time at the end. But essentially, you can just go ahead and drag things in. Now, let me explain something though about this. Your loop has to be a loop. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that a loop is not just any old audio that you're like, this is a loop, and then it becomes magically a loop. That's not how this works. How this works is a loop is what we consider to be a loop in modern contemporary music, which is 1 bar, 2 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars, 16 bars. Yeah, exactly, Steven, you're correct. It needs to be 4 bars or 8 bars, something like that. So if I have 5 bars is not really a loop. It's not like a proper loop. by modern production standards. So you can make a song and you can have 5-bar loops all day long, and you can be like, but Tony, I made a song that's got 5-bar loops. Great, good for you. But you're like the one person that's doing that right now. Normally, a loop needs to be 1 bar, 2 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars, etc., like that. 5 bars is not really a good loop. 7 bars is not a good loop. So if you have a 5-bar loop and you throw it into Ableton Live, it's going to mess up the tempo. But if you have a 4-bar loop, it's going to find the tempo really well. Most sample packs that you get are going to be 1 bar, 2 bars, like that. 1 bar, 2 bars, and 4 bars. Mostly are 1 bar, 2 bars. Agent Orange says, could you convert an audio clip you've recorded into a loop, or is it just considered a loop if it's an even track? So could you convert an audio clip you recorded into a loop? The answer is yes, you can. You have to do it inside of a DAW though. And I'm going to show you, actually, while I was in Thailand, I'm not going to show you today, but when I was in Thailand, I took my recorder with me and I recorded a bunch of loops from this, like, I stumbled across this, like, no, sorry, it was in Bali. And I was out running around the streets. I was going to go to a dance thing, like a traditional Balinesian dance thing. And that was closed down because they were doing this like temple ceremony. They were having this like parade down the street, and they were playing these drums and stuff. It was very cool. So I kind of like walked along with the parade down the street and followed along with my recorder, and I recorded all this stuff. And I haven't really had a chance because I just got back last week. I've been pretty busy. So what I'm going to show you when we get into the sampling part of things is how to create your own loops. And so you can drag them into Ableton Live really easily. So it's pretty cool stuff. And yeah, you can force it to be correct. And if it comes in and it's incorrect, the incorrect tempo, you can actually fix it to make it the right tempo. So if you have a 5-bar loop and you know it's a 5-bar loop and you know how to fix it, you can fix it pretty easily, which we will talk about in here one of these days. I'll talk about a 5-bar loop. So we got that there. So. All right, I'm gonna get rid of that bass line though, because I like my bass line a little bit better. What is next? What's the warp mean to do? Again, we're gonna talk about warp, I think probably tomorrow. I don't know, we might get to it a little bit in a minute here, but I wanna finish going through the basic stuff first. But just a quick answer to your question, Barto Beats, is the warp is the same as Elastic Audio and Pro Tools. In Logic, it's Flex Time. In Pro Tools, it's Elastic Audio. And in Ableton Live, it's warp. So that's the short answer. All right. So any looped audio will automatically fit the current tempo, and a loop is 1 bar, 2 bars, 4 bars, 8 bars, 16 bars. It's not 3 bars, it's not 5 bars, it's not 7 bars. If you want to input quantize, basically if I have my, here, let me make another keyboard for you. Plugins, Lounge. Let me get a keyboard sound in here. You can, so Kilo, you can change the quantize to 16th notes, but you don't want to do it here. We're going to do it somewhere else. I'm going to show you that just now. So basically, if I want to have input quantize, which they call record quantization, it's up here under Edit, Edit, and then down here, Record Quantization. And you have to pull that down so it says 16th notes. Okay. Now what that means is when I record stuff, it's going to come in automatically quantized. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to stop the bass for a second. I'm just going to record some stuff. Okay, and that's going to sound really bad, but let's just listen to it. right? So if you remember from, probably you learned it in Pro Tools and you learned it in Logic in Mod 1, quantize is locking the rhythms onto the beat, right? So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to hit, if I go here and I pull up my quantize window, which is Command-Shift-U, Command-Shift-U, and you can also find it over here under quantize settings, under edit quantize settings. And I can change this quantize here to 16th. Now, if I change this quantize, here, let me just put the quantize down here with everything else so we can see this all happening. Set it to 16th notes. We can see what happens when I hit go. Boop. Now, okay, and it moved everything to the right places, but I played so off that it didn't sound great. Let's put this down here again, and let's change this to 8th notes and just see what happens. Whoops, wait, hold on a second, sorry. Okay, let's do it again. You hear how it's like just 8th notes now. It's snapping everything to the 8th note. If I do it again, let's change it to 16th notes. And it's like still sounding weird because I played it pretty badly. But if I go in here, I can find one of these bars that actually sounds pretty good. Let me stop moving individual things around. Okay. And so that's what quantize does. It just lets me like move like the things into the right grid. What I'm going to do here is, let's go in here and let me do the quantize in a second though. Here, I'm going to play this. Play basically the same thing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now I'm going to answer your question in just a second, Zaint Darko. So now, if I want to quantize those automatically without having to pull up that window that says quantize, I can hit Command-U, and now it'll automatically quantize to whatever my last setting was. The last setting in this case was 16th notes. If I pull up Command-Shift-U, see how it says quantize to 16th notes? Well, that was my last setting. So now, every time I hit Command-U, it's automatically going to say 16th notes. Like that. Okay. Now, just real quick to answer your question, since we're on the screen, if you click on it, you hit the left and right arrow keys, it'll change it. It'll move it around. That's how you do that. So you move it left and right by hitting the arrow keys on your keyboard. These bad boys. Cool. All right. Now, what if I'm moving fast and I just want it to record and I want it to quantize all at the same time? Well, that's what we're going to do over here. We're going to go to Edit, Record Quantize, change that to 16th notes. Boop. So now, when I play it in, it's going to automatically be quantized. There it is, automatically quantized. So that's the ways you can do quantizing in Ableton Live. So that's input quantize, menu edit, record quantization. And I recommend using that. Cool. Quantizing the regions versus notes. You mean that, so regions, you probably mean the clip quantization. The clip quantization is when you start and stop the clip. So it has to do with when I actually, see how there's this play button here and here? So when I hit play, that's hard to hear. That's the global quantize. That's this one up here. It's going to start and stop everything on the downbeat. But what we're talking about right now is the note quantization, which is the actual individual notes inside of the clip. I hope that answers your question. What's the difference between quantizing the regions versus notes? Indefinitely. Did you mean to say definitely? Indefinitely? All right. Indubitably, sir. I do believe you have quantized these notes correctly. All right. Live view. We got the session view, we got the arrangement view. The session view is what we've been looking at this whole time, and the arrangement view is over here, and that's what looks like everything else you're used to, Logic, Pro Tools, all that stuff. This is the arrangement view, right? Wait, right over there. Now it's the arrangement view, and now it's the session view. Cool. Some shortcuts. The space bar starts and stops it just like Pro Tools, just like Logic. Space bar is always the same. Shift tab switches between your clip view and your plugin view. That's down here on the bottom. Shift tab. Command T makes a new audio track. Command Shift T makes a new MIDI track. And Command Option T makes a new return track. Now, I love that it's all based around the T key because it makes sense to me. And here's the thing about shortcuts in Live. Most of the shortcuts just kind of make sense. I'm tired of looking at the computer screen. Hold on. I want to see a big view. There we go. So most of the shortcuts in Ableton Live make sense. For example, if it's the mixer window, that's an M, right? So Command M will show or hide your mix window. Command T makes a track. It makes an audio track. You hold down the Shift button to make it into a MIDI track. Command Shift T is a MIDI track, and Option makes it into a return track. Command Option T, right? If I wanted to hide stuff here, let's take a look at this. Command Shift M. Wait, Command Option M shows and hides the mixer. Command Option I is the I/O section. Command Option R is the return tracks. Command Option S is the send tracks. If you're on a Windows machine, it is probably Control and Option. That's what that means. Control Option if you're on a Control Option if you're on a Windows machine. Oh, wrong. Get my water. Me drinking water must sound so weird through this microphone. It's like, I drink so much water in class. It's really, I'm constantly drinking water. And I feel really self-conscious about drinking water on here because there's a microphone literally right next to my throat. Sorry. Apologies in advance. I got a drink. All right. So, B is the draw mode. That's a good one. And then if we look over here, just real quick, I just want to show you something. If we look in here at the arrangement view, here, these over here, this section over here is the same thing as what we were looking at in the session view. So here's our input, here's our output, here's the in, out, off, auto, off. That's for our monitor. Here's our track on and off, which is basically a mute button. We can solo. This is your record arm section. Here's our track volume. So my kick drum. I can pan it left and right. Like that. And I can send it to reverb. This is the reverb. This is my delay right now. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, cool. Sample me drinking. That'd be a cool sample. So that's what's up with that slide right there. Okay, let's take a look at our preferences. What about using utility for those settings instead? I use utility for a lot of things. Let's talk about that another time, actually. I want to talk about the utility another time. I don't use utility for those things right there because those are mixed things. And utility is, I use utility more for automation stuff. So I don't have, it is, I'm glad you're thinking about that and talking about it because it's a good way to think, but not yet. Not for everybody else, let's say. Okay, let's look at our preferences in Ableton Live. If you have Ableton Live on your computer, then open up the preferences right now. And my recommendation is set them up exactly how mine are set up. If you do not have Ableton Live set up, then just know that these are in the notes and you can use them. You can go back to this anytime. So, just make sure you can still see me. Okay, sorry, I just wanted to sit back and relax a little bit. Oh. Getting a bit stiff. All sitting in the same position for so long. All right. So, if we go up here into preferences and look and feel, the language, English, don't show again, warning. So you've got some options here. You can have Spanish, French, Italian, Japanese. Don't use Italian because it's extra Corona right now. Don't show the warnings again. Follow behaviors. Scroll, whatever. Hide labels. You can keep that off. Now, by default, yours says permanent scrub areas are turned on. Okay. So this one here, if you have the permanent scrub areas turned on, that's the default. It's going to automatically, here, see how this is my magnifying glass. I can zoom in, I can move around like that. That's how Ableton Live works. You grab and you zoom in left and right like that. And I can play back from any part of my track like that. But with the permanent scrub areas turned off, this is the reason why I do it like this is because this is more of an old school Live thing. I'm just used to it from using Live for such a long time. For those of you who are wondering, how long has Tony been using Ableton Live? I've been using Ableton Live since 2001. That's how long I've been using Ableton Live. So that was version 1 that I started using Live. When I was living in Japan, working for the record label in Japan, I started using Ableton Live. I fell in love immediately. So I've been using it for a very long time. And this has always been where you have to hit the shift, hold the shift key down to start from different places. So I turned my permanent scrub areas off so I have more magnifying glass and zooming around area. And if I want to play back from a certain part of my area, all I do here, let me put this over here. Oops. All I do, let me move that back, put the keyboard here. There you go. You can see my keyboard. I hold down Shift, and now I can play it back from some part here. So I got this. I can hit Shift, and it plays back from that part there. So that's by holding down the Shift key. So I leave that off. I'm going to keep my keyboard here. What do you think about that for now? I think it's pretty good, right? There we go. So you can see my key commands. It's just over here on the side. Let's see. Pen tablet mode, you don't need that. Zoom display, you probably don't need that. It depends. Track and clip colors, auto assign track colors. I have that turned off. The default track color you can set to anything you want. One of these different colors if you want. The clip color is just set to the track color. Oh yeah, so I have this set to off, so it's automatically going to be orange. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I've been using that for a little bit, and I'm not sure I love it. You can have different themes. So you can have a lighter theme, you can have a midnight theme, you can have a dark theme, you can have the mid-dark, you can have Live 9. Your different themes. Brightness, higher, lower, whatever, stuff like that. Audio. Driver type is probably going to be core audio. Input device is whatever you need it to be. Oh, excuse me. Getting tired. Audio output. Usually this will be external headphones or Mac Mini or your speakers or whatever. If you're using an audio interface, it'll be the audio interface. If you're using an audio interface, actually, they should both be the audio interface, whatever that is. Also, just so you know, I can't see, if you're chatting at me right now, I can't see what you're saying. So just, am I using Suite? Yes, I am using Live Suite. When I'm zoomed in like this, though, just please understand I can't actually see the chat when I'm zoomed in like this. Sample rate, 4,400. Don't set that to something different unless you really need to. We'll talk about that another time. Just leave this at high quality. Buffer size 128. Yes. Test tone, you don't need that right now. Link, show link toggle if you want to. Unless you know what link is, don't worry about link. I would actually hide this. If you don't know what link is, just hide it. I leave mine on because I actually do use link, but for you, I would turn it off. I would turn it to hide. Start and stop sync, up to you. Again, it's a link thing. Control surface. If you have a controller for Ableton Live, what we'll do in the next couple days is I'll ask you to tell me what control surface you have, and that way we can talk about those control surfaces if you have a control surface at home. And that'll be useful for people also who don't have control surfaces. That way you can kind of get an idea for what you might want. I have a push 2. I don't have it connected right now, so that's why it's grayed out. Over here, takeover mode. You can set this. This has to do with how your knobs react when you turn the knobs. We'll talk about that another time. And then whatever you have connected up to your computer, that's going to show up here. Keep your track and remote on. Don't worry about the sync. And we talked about this a little bit earlier. File folder. Create analysis files. Yes. Sample editor. Don't worry about it. Temporary folder. Whatever. Max application. If you're using Live Suite, then you have Max application. I'm just using the bundled version. I don't have separate Max. Decoding cache. If you're using Ableton Live to do like DJ sets, or you're using a lot of MP3s with Ableton Live, this is going to be a thing. If not, don't worry about it. If you have a question about it, let's talk about it later. The library. Collect files on export. I think yours is set for ask. I always set mine to never because I keep all my files in an external hard drive, which is what I recommend you do. But there you go. Show downloadable packs. Yes, definitely. You want to download all the packs you can. Content locations. Yes, you can change the location of your library if you want to. I just keep it on my my computer though. Let's see here. Plugins. We talked about this earlier. Make sure you have audio units turned on, VST2 turned on, VST3 turned on. Turn on the multiple plugin windows. What this does is it lets you have multiple plugin windows open, so you can have like a EQ and a compressor and whatever from third party. Auto hide, turn that off, because you want to, basically what that does is when you switch from one track to another track, it'll hide the plugins on the first track. You don't want it to do that, because a lot of times when I'm in the studio, I'll be having one track selected, but I'll be looking at plugins on another track for mixing purposes. So for mixing, you want to keep that off. Auto open the plugin windows. That means that as soon as you drag and drop a third-party plugin onto a track, it'll automatically open up the plugins window. Record, warp, and launch. Okay, this is stuff you definitely want to change. File type WAV, yes. I think it's AIF by default. So change it to WAV. Bit depth, 24, always 24 for now. 32 maybe in the future, but for now, 24. count in, whatever. You can change that later up on the metronome. Exclusive, turn on exclusive arm, but turn off exclusive solo. Basically, this means that you can only have one track armed at a time, or because I turned solo off, it means you can have as many tracks soloed as you want. Now, let me just show you something here real quick. Okay, so wait, bearded mixer, your preferences look different. The reason why your preferences look different is because you probably haven't updated your live in a while. That's why your preferences look different. Sorry, I just saw that you texted in. These preferences started looking like this in version 9 what am I in? Sorry, 10.1.9. 10.1, I think, was when they changed the preferences. But I'm pretty sure the preferences look the same in Suite and in standard version, as long as you have 10.1 point blah, 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 10.1 point something. And I'm running the latest version of Live, and it's 10.1.9, apparently. So that's what you should check out. Make sure that you're running the latest version, because it should look the same, I think. Because at school I have standard. All the school computers use standard, and it looks like mine. So I'm pretty sure that's correct. Okay. So file type, wave, yep. Bit depth, 24, count in, none, arm, solo, okay. Oh wait, I wanted to show you something. Here's what I want to show you. So I've got mine set like this with arm on and solo off. So look what happens when I hit a solo button. If I hit solo, I can solo as many tracks at the same time as I want. And I'm just going to play everything all at the same time. So they all are playing. And I can solo this one, and I can solo this one. But if I want to solo one and then switch my solo to a different one, I can hold down my command key here, or control, and it'll change the solos. Now, if I'm record arm, if I want to record arm one, and I want to record arm another one, it won't let me record arm two at the same time unless I hold down my command key. If I hold down command, it'll let me record arm multiple tracks at the same time. So you might want to do that. And then I can just turn them off. Let's see. Oops. All right. What else? Playback with record. Oh, definitely turn that off. I hate that one. Let's see. Warp, short samples, auto warp, long samples, yes. Default warp mode, beats mode or complex. Depends on what you're doing with stuff. Actually, I should have this set to beats mode, not complex. Create fades on clip edges. Turn that off. I think that might be on by default. Turn it off. Launch mode, trigger, global, quantization, yes. Select on launch. All these off. Start tempo with playback. Start playback with tap tempo. Whatever you want to do. And then your licenses. Mine is 10 plus 21 add-ons. So cool. So that's your prefs. What else are we talking about? Okay. All right. So we're going to continue on right now, but that is the end of a normal day's lessons of the first day of Ableton Live. Let's just stop here for a quick second and see if there's any questions. Anybody have any questions they've been holding on to? Any questions? Is anybody still there? I mean, there's still 27 people logged in, but I'm wondering, are people still here? Okay. All right, good. Okay, cool. All right, that's fine. I just want to make sure. Do you need Suite? Well, does anybody in here have Suite? Anybody have Suite? Buying it tomorrow. Yeah, not a bad idea. I understand. No, it's fine. I understand. Bearded Mixer. I'm broke. Yeah, I understand that too. You have Suite version 9. Okay, well, Suite version 9 and Suite version 10 aren't... You know, the difference between 9 and 10 is interesting because 10 adds a whole bunch of little small updates, not tons of big ones. I mean, there are a couple of synths, there's a few things, but I absolutely love 10 now. I have used 9 since I've got 10, and it's like hard to go back. But yeah, it's hard to say you have to update to 10, but you have to update to 10. Actually, that wasn't that hard to say. No, yeah. I'm just joking. You your VSTs will totally carry over. What, are you using a Mac? Yeah, you're talking about Suite. I know. Yeah, you're talking about Suite. No, I understand. Yeah, you're using a Mac. No, your VSTs will totally carry over. I mean, 9 and 10 are the same. As long as you're using 64-bit. I don't think so. I mean, what's your OS? Do you know what your OS is that you're using? Your Mac OS, I mean. I'm using Mojave. Sierra? No, you should be fine. No. Yeah, you're fine. I mean, 10.12 Sierra, I was using that for a long time. Everything works great. So I don't see any reason why you would have a problem with it. Can a tethered USB cable be causing more latency? Probably not. A tethered USB cable for what? What are you talking about? Tethering? What are you using your USB cable for? Botto Beats. Oh, an extension. I don't think so. I mean, I've got actually, see this camera over here with my keyboard? This is actually a camera that is on an extension cable. And it's an extension USB cable, and it's really old. It's one that I got back in like, man, I probably got this extension cable 12 or 14 years ago, and it still works. So that shouldn't be your problem. Actually, if y'all want to see my little studio setup real quick, here I'll take this one off. Let me let's see. Keyboard. Here's this. Here we go. I'm gonna pick this up. So here's what I'm looking at. This is my studio setup for right now. I've got 2 cameras. I've got one camera set up on the keyboard, and you can see it's on this this stand right here. And I've got my keyboard here, and I've got my Mac Mini. Is MTV Cribs. Over here is my Mac Mini, and then is my monitor, which is actually not my monitor. I had to borrow it because when I went to Thailand, I let my friend, my guy I make music with, I let him borrow my computer monitor. And he still has it right now, and I just borrowed this monitor from a friend of mine. That's why it's an old, janky monitor. I have a camera, my iPad Pro, which is, I'm running it as a second monitor, so I have basically 2 monitors going on. And my mouse, which is a trackball mouse, and my keyboard. So that's it right now. I mean, I don't have, I'm at my girlfriend's house. Hanging out because I figured if I'm going to be stuck inside because of coronavirus, I'd like to be stuck inside with her. at her place, right? Makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So, yeah. Yeah, you can run an iPad Pro as a monitor. Absolutely. I mean, I say that as if it's common knowledge, but yeah, no, you can actually run. Wait, y'all got you got an iPad. You can run your iPad as a separate monitor. There's a program called Duet, which you can use. I'm actually using a program called Luna Display, and you can see it pop up here. This one here, boom, Luna Display settings. Here, this one here, and this actually lets you use your monitor, lets you use your iPad as another monitor, but you have to have a dongle. It has like a little separate thing that goes into the back of your Mac. Here, let me show you. I can't take it out because my display would go down, but I can show you this here. Wait, where is it? This one. That is the little dongle that I can put in there. It just goes into the USB-C plug, and it allows me to use my iPad as a monitor. And what's cool about it is when I was in Thailand, I was using my iPad Pro as my main monitor. So this program lets me actually power up and use the iPad Pro as a monitor, which is kind of cool. And if here's my iPad Pro, but I can still use it. Actually, wait, where is it? There it is. I can still use it as an iPad. So I can still go through and I can do all the iPad stuff, do that I would want to do. I can like watch Netflix on it, whatever. And I can come back to using it as a display. So it's pretty sick. Yeah, it's pretty dope stuff. So that's what's going on here. Wish someone told me that in the audience. Run back and forth from studio to control to record. Oh yeah, no, it's not jailbroken. This is just a regular software. You don't have to jailbreak it. No. Yes, it is one of the Paperlike screen protectors. I'm absolutely in love with my iPad Pencil, and that's what I wrote all these notes. Oh, that's cool. Good. Yeah, they work really well. So all these Tony notes, you see how they're all in my handwriting and stuff like that. It's because I'm constantly, like, if we were in class at school at SAE, you would actually see me writing on the iPad, using the iPad as, I plug it into the computer and I run it through the projector, so you can see me drawing and stuff on the iPad. So, pretty cool. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to open up a new window, because we got some more stuff to talk about. Let's see what's in tomorrow's notes, but we're gonna just go ahead and keep going. Let's see here. My documents, online teaching, attendance. Wait, where's the... Where is it? C1L29. C1L29. There you are. Where do you live? Documents, teaching. Here we go. Okay. Let's go for lesson 30. Cool. Audio recording. Oh, recording in live. You know what? Actually, I don't want to talk about this one yet because Bearded Mixer, what are you saying today? Were you talking about analog gear? Here we go, single page, boop. Okay, you know what? We're gonna do this lesson 30. We're gonna do that not today. We're gonna talk about MIDI today. Oh, there we go. They're both less than 30. All right, cool. Shameful language. All right, MIDI. Here we go. Single page. After I'm done. That is hilarious. Man, it knows. You take out those vowels. It still knows. It still knows you're cursing. I just told them I'm at your house.
My house?
Yeah, y'all wanna see my girlfriend?
No.
You wanna come around over on this side? You wanna say hi?
Oh gosh, I look terrible.
Here, everybody say hi to Vanessa. I don't think she looks terrible. Don't tell everybody at SAE that I did this. Oh my gosh. Hello, Tony's girlfriend. Hey girl, hi Vanessa. Aw. Okay, anyway, thank y'all. Y'all are so friendly, I love it. Hey, what you wearing? All right. So let's take a look at this MIDI stuff. All right. So global quantize. We literally just talked about global quantize stuff. Here it is in the notes. 20 with the moves. Oh yeah. You don't even know how many moves I got. What? I got moves like this. I got moves like this. I got moves like this. What? All the moves. Okay. So global quantize, right. So that's launching your clips. Got your clips. It determines when clips will launch, when they will stop or record. Global quantize can be changed to almost any number, but 1 bar is recommended by me. Clips can have their own individual launch settings that are independent from the global quantize. How to bounce in the box. Yes, actually, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. I want to do the audio recording stuff tomorrow, but absolutely, that's a really big thing, Chrissy, to talk about bouncing in the box, 100%. All right, so recording MIDI clips. Let's go back into Ableton here. Boop, there we go. Okay, let's play this one. Okay, so you've already been seeing me record MIDI clips. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm literally just going to walk you through step by step of what I've been doing when I record these MIDI clips. Okay, so I've got my Lounge Lizard here. So first of all, when you want to record a MIDI thing, here, let me just start from the beginning here. So I've got everything in here right now is all audio. Well, most of it. I mean, I do have some like MIDI clips in here, but we're gonna, you know what? Sorry, let me stop being weird. Let's just start over from the very beginning. I want this kick drum on here. Boom, okay. Okay, so I have this, and it's a kick drum. Okay, cool. So there's my kick drum. I like that kick drum. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit go. I'm going to turn on my metronome, and you can hear my metronome. Now, if I play, you can hear there's a lag. If you're hearing it through my microphone when I'm hitting the key and you hear the kick drum, there's a lag on things. And that's because I'm running through several different programs to get it out for streaming. So I'm just going to have to deal with that. But what I'm going to do here is when I'm ready to record, when I figured out what I want to record, I'm going to hit this record button right here. So I hit go, like this. It's playing. Now I'm going to hit the record button, and it's going to start recording. 1, 2, 3, go. Right? Cool, and that sounds fine. Now, you'll notice that it's actually quantized automatically. The reason why it's quantized automatically, if you remember from what we just talked about, is because I have record quantization turned on. So there we go. So I've got this. Now, if I want to record another sound, I'm going to make a new MIDI track. I'm going to go over here to my instruments, to my drums. I'm going to put the 808 kit on here. And I'm going to go ahead and, where are we? There we go. Yeah. And now, I'm recording that as a loop. I'm going to duplicate this track. I'm going to rename it to closed hi-hat. When I rename it to the track name, any clip that I record into it is going to have that in there. How did you turn on record quantization? Go over here to your edit window, edit menu, and down here to record quantization and select whichever one you want. That's how you turn that on. Okay. So now I've got my closed hi-hat here, and the closed hi-hat, every time I make a new clip, it's going to name that clip CH, which is closed hat. Okay. So I go in here, make sure this is. I'm going to turn this one down a little bit. Now this one here. Awesome. I'm going to duplicate this one again. I'm going to give one called side stick. And I'm going to hit record when it's time. That one right there. There we go. I'm going to make another MIDI track here. I'm going to put a 606 on here. I'm going to record this one. I'm going to record this cymbal in here. Yeah, you love that it records seamlessly. I do too. I'm a big fan of that. I'm going to use this track here. It's going to be my closed hat 2. Alright, so I got this in here. And I'm just going to record 8th notes. Nice. Now, I have a track, I have a clip in here that's all shakers. I think it might be broken though, because I know I changed some links and I changed some like hard drive names. And let's see if I fixed these though. I may have fixed these. No, I didn't fix these. These are all broken. Here, I'll use the Ableton ones, and we'll use a percussion core kit. There we go. Okay, so I have these. So I'm just going to grab this part here. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. There we go. We got those. Okay. So now I got this little action going on here, this little drum loop. kick down. Now, if I want to put a bass line in here, now here's where things start to get kind of interesting. Let's get a bass line going on here. I'm going to go to my sounds. I'm going to grab a bass. Okay, we're going to use this one here. Bring this in. Here so I can play it better. Okay, if I like what I'm playing, don't forget that you've got that function we talked in the beginning, right? Now, that's pretty cool, and I like it. It's kind of cool sounding, but what if I want to try playing a few other sounds? And this is where things get really cool with MIDI stuff and Ableton Live. If I want to play some other bass lines and things like that, what I can do is, while this is playing, I can just go ahead and hit other sounds. Not chords, I'm not talking about chords. I just want to play the same, I want to use the same instrument, but I want to just try some different lines out with it. So what I can do is I can have this one playing, and I'm just going to try some different ones. I just play some different ones. And now I can try these out. And I can see, as you can see, I can actually trigger different ones to play. And then you can go ahead and lay those out however you want. You can mess around with them. Now, what I want to do is, let's say I've got, oh, it's linking hearts. This is great for having musicians play riffs and figuring out like the chorus or the melody. It's so fantastic for that. But let me show you a different way to do this, which actually fits a little bit better. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead, Thomas. I'm never going to remember that because your screen name says Linking Hearts. Sorry. It's really hard for me to remember Thomas when I'm looking at Linking Hearts. Is there a way you can change it in the chat group so it says Thomas? So here's what happens. So I'm going to hit play on this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to noodle around for a while with this, just like you would in Pro Tools or Logic. Get some ideas. Just some ideas. So I got some ideas here. Now, if you look at this, there's a whole bunch of material in here. If I double click on this, you can see there's like, I've got 24 bars here, right? I don't need to use all 24 bars. If we go over here on the left-hand side of our clips, notice, hold on, wait, where did I go? I went off my screen. Okay, there we go. So over here where it says notes, it's got this area here that says loop, start, all that stuff, start, stop, position, all this stuff. Well, what I can do is I can set this loop position for, let's set it for a 2-bar loop. So now when I hit play, it's going to play that 2-bar loop. And now what I can do is I can use this 2-bar loop and I can move through the clip to find 2 bars that I like, and I can put these things together. So what I'll do is I'll grab this first one here, and I'm just going to call this one loop 1, bass. Bass, how low can you go? Death row. All right, so I got this here. Let's call this one bass loop 2. Okay. Let's find this one. Actually, I want to fatten this bass sound up a little bit. It's annoying me that it's not a little bit. Yeah, oh, it's just that. Hold on, let's make it a little bit nicer sounding, shall we? Yes. There we go, better, right? Now I can, I don't know, it sounds fatter to me, doesn't it? No? Did you just insult my bass? My bass is a little bit hurt now. It's gonna go cry in the corner. So I mean, I think it sounds a little bit fatter, don't you? I don't know. I think it does. I'm gonna put this utility on the end here. Bring it. So we have that. So now I can listen to these bass lines and hear. Right. Let's find some different ones here. And I can find all these different parts of this that I might like better than other parts. And just see what sounds cool. and you can find the different parts that you like. So I went through and I took this one like part that I played a whole bunch of different ideas into, and I chopped it up into little sections. And now I've got these little sections that I can play along with, which is pretty darn cool. It's like pretty different from any other. You can't do that in Pro Tools like this. You can't do it in Logic like this. It's really only an Ableton Live thing that allows you to do it like this, which is pretty freaking cool. All right. Now, let's make these drums sound a little bit better, shall we? Got my bass drum. I got, what is this one? It's my hand clap. Jam it. Jam on it. Jam session. Jammity jam. No, there's all sorts of stuff you can do when we're doing this through the interwebs that you can't do in class, right? Oh yeah, this is a shaker. Shaker. This is also a shaker, right? Yeah. I'm gonna make this into less of a crazy hall reverb and more of a drum room reverb. Yeah, there we go. Make it a bit darker though. Yeah. Cool. Nice. There we go. It sounds a little bit better. And what's this sound? Oh, that's that cymbal. Cool. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show y'all something. Did y'all learn how to route audio in Pro Tools? You probably did, right? You probably learned how to route the audio in Pro Tools a little bit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to route the audio in here. And this is, let's see, we're going to call this a drum group. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a subgroup of all these drums. So what you do is I'm highlighting all my drum tracks here that I've got. And oh, let me just name this. Hold on. So I highlight all these drum tracks. And I'm going to set the output audio 2 to go to my drum group. And my drum group track, which is right over here, right there, cool, is now so I got this drum group here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a drum group track. And it's like overly compressed. Hold on, let's turn the input down to 0 here. Cool. No, the group doesn't need an input when your group, because remember, you don't have to connect anything up in Ableton Live. You just send one to the other, right? So we'll go over that next time. But let me turn this one down. And let me get a snare drum in here as well. So duplicate this, and what is that? That's an 808. Let's use this one here then. I'm just gonna layer the sound up with a snare drum. Yeah. Cool. Duplicate this as well. Right. That sounded pretty good. Yep. Nice. Take this and pitch it up a little bit. Yeah. Cool, there we go. So who was asking for techno earlier? There you go. A little techno action going on. This way. Like some garage. Right? Okay. So, and that's how you get like a decent little mix going on as well. So I got all these tracks here going into my drum group, and on the drum group, I've got some compression, multi-band compression. I've got a glue compressor, a bit warmer. These are all plugins that come with Ableton Live, so we're good to go there with stuff. All right, so let's see here. All right, so recording MIDI clips, going back into this, just a real quick recap of what we just talked about here before I let y'all go. Recording MIDI clips, you turn on the metronome, you hit the spacebar to play, hit the record button on an empty clip slot to start recording a MIDI clip. Can you make the bass scene play after one another? Yes, you can. You know what? I'll show you that in a second. Give me like 10 more minutes, and I'm going to let everybody go at like 6:15. And then I'll answer this question. I'll show you how to do it, okay? How about that? So hit the record button in an empty clip slot to start recording a MIDI clip. So you saw me do that in here. I've got my bass here. And if I want to record, I've got this. So I've got this. I can just go in here. So I've got that there, and I can just start and stop that playing. Okay, so that's this part here. So then the clip will record indefinitely. It's just going to keep going until you hit that button again. So while you're recording, the launch button will turn red. So here, let's just see that real quick. Over here, while I'm recording, the button is going to turn red. So if I'm over here, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that's a red launch button right there. Okay. And when I hit it, it turns red. When I hit it again, it turns green. And now it's just looping that empty clip. So here, let's go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's just this little part right here. can just record a bunch of these over and over and over again. Okay, so I got that there. When you're done recording, hit the launch button and the clip will begin looping at the next downbeat, and then a playing clip will have a green launch button. If the clip has a green launch button, you're not going to record additional notes into it, and it's great for just auditioning sounds. And then you can overdub using the overdub button, which is this one right up in here. So for example, if I wanted to overdub some kind of line, whatever into here. And now I can put that one in there. Let's put this in here like this. So there you go. There's that. And I think that's a good place to stop. We're going to come back. We talked about record quantize earlier. We can come back and answer any questions about that tomorrow, regular quantizing. Yeah, we can talk about that stuff tomorrow. We just talked about subgroup mixing here, which we'll come back and just kind of review tomorrow as well. But yeah, I think that's pretty good. So what do y'all think about your first day of online lessons? You got a whole bunch of new things today. You got a new teacher. You got a new way of learning. You got a new DAW. You got some new thoughts about how dope making beats can be in a new DAW like this. Man, y'all are lucky. Yeah, that's what's up. Answer Thomas's question. Yes, I will answer Thomas's question. Cool. Yeah, if you don't have Ableton, I recommend picking it up. It's dope. If you're making beats, I don't know y'all, so I wish I knew y'all better. But I'll meet you at some point when this is all done. I'm gonna be teaching Mod 2. Like I'm the Mod 2 guy. I made Mod 2. I wrote the curriculum on it pretty much. Like it's my baby. So you'll definitely see me around school, even if it's not this mod, even if we're doing the rest of this stuff. I'm gonna have a think about how to do that last project or what it's gonna be. I'm probably not gonna have an answer for you this week. Don't worry. I'm very fair with my grading and stuff. As long as you're cool, I'm cool. So that's what people know about me. I'm pretty cool. Yeah, that's what's up. Thank you so much for being awesome. And still weekly quizzes. Yes-ish. I mean, the quizzes, y'all know the quizzes aren't really quizzes, right? The quizzes are more for knowledge, for y'all, just to make sure you put your eyes on stuff before you come to class. So the answer is yeah. I mean, we should still be doing that because can you use FL? No. Not that I have anything against FL, but for the final project, I don't know. We have to figure out what the final project is going to be because I'm not sure that there's going to be one. It just depends on what happens with stuff. If y'all can't get access to the school, then we can't do the final project the way that we were doing it before. So what I was going to say is that, let me answer your question now, Thomas. Let me go and review what that question was. Let's see. Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see. Let me see here. What was your question? It was, can you make the bass scenes play after one another? Okay, so the answer is yes, you can make the bass scenes play after one another. There is a thing in Ableton Live called follow actions. If you go down here in the bottom left-hand corner, hold on, let me just get this here. Okay, so if you go down here in the bottom left-hand corner, down here where it says L for launch, there's this thing called follow actions right here. And basically what they allow you to do is they allow you to set it up so clips can follow one another as long as they're in a line like this. So these clips here, let me move this one down. So these 5 clips right here are all grouped together. They're all in this little group right here. So I'm gonna highlight all 5 of these clips And what's going to happen is down here, I've got these follow actions. So I got these follow actions here. Hold on a second, sorry. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, so every, let's say I'm going to put them in legato mode, and then every 2 beats, it's going to do an action. And what I'm going to have it do is I'm going to have it play randomly. Let's have it play the next one every 2 beats. And now this one here is how often you want it to do the action. This one here is what action do you want it to do. And this one here is what is the percentage that it will actually do that action. So you have 2 things. One, we can set this to 500, which is like 50%. And I can have it play randomly have it play one and have that be 50% of the time as well. If I want something to be 100% of the time, I just set that to 999. That's like 100% of the time. It's always going to do that action. If I want it to be 50% of the time, I have it be 50%. And you can have it be whatever. I mean, whatever you want to do. But anyway, once I hit play on here, watch what happens. And now it's literally just randomly playing stuff. Now here's the problem with this though. It's not a problem, but it's just a thing you got to keep in mind is if you have this set for random, like I have one of these set for random down here, you can see random, that it's going to be random. So if I want to capture that, what would I do? Somebody tell me, what should I do if I want to capture that? Record in the other window. Record it, yeah. Record it, bus it, and record it from the bus. Exactly. Y'all are all right. Record it into... So there's a couple things, actually. Thomas, record it in the other window. Actually, you could do that if I wanted to. Let me just show you that. That's actually a great answer. It's a really interesting answer you gave there accidentally. These are all playing here. If I hit record over here, so I can let it play for a while. And if I could look at my other window over here, my bass line, all the stuff it just did, all that random stuff it just did, has been recorded into this other window here, which is pretty cool. So that's one way you could do it, which is kind of neat. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool, right? It sounds neat. It's really cool. The other thing that the other people were saying is bus it to an audio track and record it in here, bass bounce, which is also correct. You can also do that, and then we're recording the audio. So I'm just going to go my audio from, I'm going to capture it from the bass here, do post effects, so it's not including this mix window here. And then I could record it in as audio, and it would record in the audio. So you could do both ways. They're both valid. They're both pretty cool. If you did it this way, now what you could do is you could actually take all of these. Let me just grab these first 8 bars. So I could take this MIDI loop here and consolidate it or join it. And now I've got this one MIDI loop. Yeah, like Pro Tools, yeah. To consolidate is Command J. So, pretty neat stuff, right? Command J consolidates. You just highlight everything and you Command J. No, I'm going to get rid of you. Yeah, I don't need you either. So that's what's up. That answers your question. And it's cool. I mean, it's a good way to kind of generate. So you generate a few different things, a few different like ideas, and then you can just like mash them together. So the two things you have to have turned on is over here in your follow actions. One thing is you got to have the legato turned on here. Wait, where is it? There it is. Legato, turn that on. And then you also want to have your follow actions. Pros and cons. One of the good things about recording it the way I just did into here is I still have the MIDI data. So I can still mess with the MIDI data. If I like some things but I don't like other things, I can still mess around with it. Oh, yeah, Agent Orange. Yeah, you're right there. And then but I actually like having stuff recorded as audio. I love working with audio because with audio, if I take this and turn it into audio, I can flip it backwards. I can do some stuff to it. It's less processor on my CPU. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with audio. So I'm actually a big fan of doing stuff with audio and MIDI. I use both, but I put things in audio as quick as possible almost all the time. If y'all want to hear some of the music that I've done, how do I go to Spotify? I just want to play Spotify music. There we go. Wait, I don't open web player. Yes. So in here, in Spotify, you can Renegade Masters, this one here. We don't have the Z. The only thing is this one here, this Boys Renegade Masters remix edit is not ours. So that's not mine. That's hilarious. Oh, this one is, how is that even oh, that's funny. That's up online. That's not supposed to be up. But yeah, so this is all like a lot of the stuff. Wait, I don't know if you can hear that or not. Hold on a second. System prefs. Anyway, you can go in there and look at and listen to the music. I don't know if you can hear this or not, but back once again for the Renegade Master. Yep. But this first track is not mine. I don't know why that's in here. Actually, I really want to get, because this is like, that song is garbage. Pure garbage. Oh my goodness. My favorite track is Drop and Slide, just so you know. I like Drop and Slide a lot. But anyway. But yeah, you should go and follow it because not enough people follow us. Anyway. But it's good stuff, you know. You can't hear it. Yeah, I know. It's okay. I'm sorry. I don't have it linked up to go through, but you can listen to it on your own. Anyway, that's my stuff. And I'll show you some other stuff later. It's more down-tempo stuff. But yeah, cool. Well, it's been a real pleasure to virtually meet y'all. Those of you who are in my class, I'll see you tomorrow. Those of you who are in John Sickett's class, I won't see you tomorrow. But whatever. Anyway, I'll be here again. You're welcome. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop recording this right now. And I don't know, something. I'll see you. Analog. Hey. Please refrain from using foul language. All right. Thanks, y'all. I'll see you later. Bye.